JJ the CPA here. So PPP question 4 in the SBA FAQs has been updated, and it has clarified the due date of the PPP forgiveness application. Now hang on. I'm actually going to read it to you because you're going to be like, I don't think you explained that right, JJ. So here it is. The application for forgiveness of PPP is not due until the time period of when you have to make all of your payments has ended. What they address further is that there's a separation between when you have to file your application for forgiveness and when you have to start making payments on your PPP. So what they're addressing is, well, what if you don't put in your application for forgiveness? When do your payments begin? But that has actually nothing to do with when your PPP application for forgiveness is due. So I don't see any further clarification after this, but it would seem obvious that if you did start making payments on your PPP loan, and then later you did put in an application for forgiveness, and you receive forgiveness, then you would be getting a refund back of whatever you paid, assuming full forgiveness. I think the reason, though, that this came about, well, there's Amanda's books. We have so many, they're falling. Right there, Be a Potato, Amanda Brewer on Amazon. Guess that was the universe saying I needed to plug it. Here's the reasoning, I think, behind question 4 in the FAQs is this. They don't want anybody potentially on purpose procrastinating from putting in the PPP forgiveness application, trying to drag out then when they have to make payments. So I'm going to read this to you, and then we'll wrap her up. So on this, question 4, and I'm putting a link to this FAQ from the SBA in the body of this video. So it says question 4, the PPP loan forgiveness application forms, and it lists them all, 3508, 3508EZ, 3508S. Display an expiration date of 10/31/2020 in the upper right-hand corner. Is October 31, 2020 the deadline for borrowers to apply for forgiveness? The answer, I'm reading from the SBA's FAQs. The answer, no. Borrowers may submit a loan forgiveness application anytime before the maturity date of the loan, which is either 2 or 5 years from loan origination. However, if a borrower does not apply for loan forgiveness within 10 months after the last day of the borrower's loan forgiveness covered period, loan payments are no longer deferred and the borrower must begin making payments on the loan. For example, a borrower whose covered period ends on October 30, 2020 has until August 30th, 2021 to apply for forgiveness before loan payments begin. The expiration date in the upper right corner of the posted PPP loan forgiveness application forms is displayed for purposes of SBA's compliance with the Paperwork Reduction Act and reflects a temporary expiration date. For approved use of the forms, the date will be extended, and when approved, the same forms with the new expiration dates will be posted. So, 2 quick things. One, when it says borrowers may submit loan forgiveness application anytime before the maturity date of the loan, which is either 2 or 5 years from the loan forgiveness. So if you got your PPP on or before June 5th, 2020, you have 2 years. And if you got the loan June 5th or after the PPP, then you have the 5 years. That came out of the Flexibility Act. And then when it indicates, for example, a borrower whose covered period ends on October 30, 2020, what they're talking about here on the covered period would be whether you did the 8 weeks or the 24 weeks as your covered period. So this example is the covered period, either the 8 or the 24 weeks. They don't indicate, but it's either or. That covered period ends October 30, 2020. So payments don't begin until 10 months after that date, which they indicate August 30th, to apply for forgiveness before loan repayment begins. So what they're clarifying here is it's fine if you don't want to put in your loan forgiveness application, but your loan repayment will begin 10 months after the covered period ends. If you want to avoid any payments, then you put in your PPP forgiveness application within the 10 months following the covered period to parallel both things, but they've made it clear that these are two distinct items. All right, hey, I always forget to do this till the end, but if you've made it to here and you're not a subscriber, do me a favor. I've created a little bit of value here, I'm assuming. Costs you nothing except 3 seconds to click it. Love it if you'd subscribe, and then don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me. Have a great day.